My name is Susan Richter. I'm a registered nurse, a certified nutritionist, a Loomis digestive health specialist, and a certified colon hygienist. I've been in private practice for 35 years, and I, not too long ago, had Lyme disease. It was in 1999. And I didn't want to go the typical route of medicine because I'm not a medicine girl, but I did discover the power of enzymes. And I met Dr. Howard Loomis at a seminar. And Dr. Loomis told me that enzymes are these little proteins that are created by the DNA of every living cell of every living thing. And without them, we wouldn't be able to see or hear or think or talk or walk. We couldn't have babies. A tree couldn't grow. An apple couldn't fall from a tree and feed its seeds and make another tree. Enzymes are the life force that drives all life. And I'm really happy to be bringing today's topic, which is drug-free enzyme nutrition, to you in your home. First, there are 3 different enzyme uses. One would be to help you digest your food. We're familiar with the pancreas and how the pancreas secretes enzymes based on certain hormones that are secreted when you eat. And those enzymes break down proteins, fats, and carbohydrates and turn them into the nutrition that our body needs that is small enough to actually get into the cells and do the work. There's another way to use enzymes. You can combine enzymes with other form of nutrients, like for example, herbs. When we usually pick herbs, or back in the days when we picked herbs, they were still live, which meant that there were enough enzymes in that herb to do its job. When we use herbs now, we usually dry them, and they don't have that enzyme force in them. So when we combine these dried herbs with certain enzymes, it's just like we picked them from the tree or the bush, or we dug it out of the ground. So the third way to use enzymes is on an empty stomach. If you take protease, for example, on an empty stomach, it's going to digest foreign protein in your body, such as bacteria. If you take lipase on an empty stomach, it will digest foreign fat in your body. And if you take amylase on an empty stomach, it will help you clean up your nerves. Then there's one more, and that's cellulase. Cellulase helps you break down fiber. And cellulase is pretty interesting because the human body doesn't make cellulase. If you pick an apple from a tree and it hasn't been irradiated and it hasn't been preserved and it hasn't been cooked, which are the 3 ways to kill enzymes, and you eat that apple and you chew it well enough, it will feed you. If that apple falls from the tree and it rots when it hits the ground, we think it's no good. But in actuality, that rotten apple, which got that way because the enzymes turned it that way, is going to feed the seeds, which are going to send down a root and send up a shoot and create a whole nother tree. So when we take enzymes on an empty stomach, these things that normally wouldn't be in our bodies can then be eaten up by these little Pac-Men, these little enzyme Pac-Men. And I want to show you a perfect example of how enzymes work. I made oatmeal today. 2 glasses. In this glass, I'm going to open digestive enzymes called Digest. They're a basic formula that I can give to anyone, a child, an adult, an elder, to help them digest their food. We're going to stir it into this oatmeal. And we're going to see this little science experiment. And we're going to see what happens when you add enzymes to your food. So we're going to put the one with a star on it on this glass, and we're going to put the one with no star on this glass. Now, within minutes, if not sooner, you can see that this oatmeal is becoming more liquid. This oatmeal is still solid. This oatmeal is starting to digest because we've added digestive enzymes to the oatmeal. It will become a liquid like milk, and your body will absorb the nutrition from the oatmeal and get it right to the cell wall. Getting it into the cell wall is another story, and we'll probably touch on that on our next video. But here you can see how enzymes work. And we'll set that aside and let it keep working. So, Dr. Loomis figured out how to grow enzymes in a controlled environment. Because enzymes are a living force, you can't create them in a lab. People have tried, but it doesn't work because enzymes have a life force. So Dr. Loomis grows enzymes, and he puts formulas together to meet the needs of people with all different issues. For example, we have 8 different enzyme formulas to help you digest your food. One may be because you don't digest carbs. One because you don't digest protein or you don't digest fat. And one for if you don't digest anything. If you get heartburn, we're going to give you a formula that has very little protease in it, because otherwise we would upset your belly by giving you protease like that, because there's a compromised mucosal lining. Once we determine through a scientific method of analyzing a 24-hour urine catch which foods you don't digest and how long it's been since you've digested those kind of foods, then we can determine the condition of the small intestine, the large intestine, the liver, the spleen, the gallbladder, the stomach, the lungs, the autonomic nervous system, the sympathetic nerves and parasympathetic nerves. We know how much vitamin C you need, how much magnesium or potassium you need, all from a 24-hour urinalysis. And then we put a protocol together for you that includes herbs and enzymes to address the adrenal gland, because maybe you're not sleeping through the night or you have trouble when you skip meals. And we give you a digestive formula. It could be because you're not producing enough hydrochloric acid, and we would give you a formula that has pepsin and betaine in it to help you digest your food, along with lipase, amylase, and protease. And we would give you formulas to eliminate the foreign bacteria, which is a protein, or the foreign fat, which is a virus, or the foreign carb, which is a histamine reaction, causes a histamine reaction, or foreign mold, yeast, or fungus. And that would be cellulase. To digest the foreign fat, we would use lipase. To digest the foreign protein, we would use protease. And to mitigate a histamine reaction, we would use amylase. So when you come to my office, we're going to have a 24-hour urinalysis already. This is collected from the time you wake up in the morning. You skip your first urine and you collect all day, all night, and you get your first urine the next day, which makes it a 24-hour catch. And then you keep it cold and send it to my lab. The lab sends back the urinalysis completed, which tells us the condition of the small intestine, the large intestine, the liver, the kidney, the gallbladder, the stomach, the lungs, and the nerves, along with your levels of calcium, vitamin C, magnesium, vitamin D, etc. We also will do a palpatory exam. All the different colors on this chart are related to different systems and organs in your body. By the way, you don't take your clothes off to do this exam, and I'm not sure whether this is a girl or a boy, but hopefully on this video you can see those different colors. If you have pain here, for example, in your shoulders, and I palpate your shoulders, and you say, oh, you know, that hurts, and it hurts every now and then when I'm under stress. Well, that's because this point is the universal stress point, and when you're under stress, you're going to burn off your fats faster than anything else, and you're going to have that point hurting. Your body is going to tell you that you need some essential fatty acids, or perhaps there's pain here behind your head at the base of your skull that radiates up around to the front of your head and your forehead here. This tells me that your sympathetic nerves are hungry and you're not getting enough potassium from your food or in your food. So all of these points mean something different. So you might be in a doctor's office and he's a specialist, and the person sitting next to you has the same symptoms that you do. But you know what? You're not going to have the same cause because everybody is different. And this helps zero in on your particular issues, and it helps you solve the problems that nobody else has been able to solve with medicine or anything else. That's why I think enzymes are our medicine. They're drug-free medicine, because our original medicine was in the ground. We'd dig it out and use the root, or we'd pluck it off the bush, or we'd scrape it off the tree. That was our original medicine. And then we extracted the active ingredient, and that became our medicine. And then man got really smart and they made chemical copies of that active ingredient. So vitamin A that originally came from a carrot now became vitamin A from a lab. But when you take that vitamin A, the vitamin A from a carrot is going to be much more productive for you than vitamin A from the lab, especially if the carrot is still alive, if that extract or that food is still alive. Now, it's not practical. We irradiate our food, we preserve our food, we cook our food. All of those things kill the enzymes in the food. So when you take your digestive enzyme, when you're eating that carrot that might have been irradiated, you're still going to get the vitamin A from the carrot. It's magic. You'll also fill out a signs and symptoms survey, and some of these symptoms will tell me right away that you're having trouble digesting certain foods. For example, if you have a poor memory, or you can't keep track of your thoughts like I seem to be having today, then I know you're not properly digesting your carbohydrates, and I can give you a formula that will help you digest your carbohydrates and will replace the vitamins and minerals that you would have been getting from carbohydrates if you were digesting them. The same with proteins. A typical symptom of not enough protein in your diet or not digesting protein would be cold hands and feet. If you have cold hands and feet, or if, let's see, another symptom of that would be cold hands and feet. I'm going to cheat. Cold hands and feet. Oh boy, I hope we can cut this out. Oh, back pain, spinal disc issues, a jaw that clicks. Okay, these are all symptoms of not properly digesting your protein or not getting enough of it in your diet. And then fats, if your hair is falling out, if you have a history of being unable to conceive or having a low sperm count, or you have stiffness in your shoulders or in your rib cage, these are all symptoms of either not eating enough of the right fats or not digesting them. And then there's fiber. The human body doesn't make the enzyme that digests fiber. It's called cellulase. It can be found in an apple that you just picked from a tree that wasn't irradiated, preserved, or cooked. And it will help you digest that apple. If you chew the apple well enough and you break open the cell, that enzyme will come out and help you digest the fiber in the apple. Since the human body doesn't have this enzyme, it causes a few problems. You might have heard of candida or yeast or fungus or mold. We're born with candida, yeast, fungus, and mold in the intestines. And what happens is that the environment changes. The pH changes because you get sugar water as a baby, or you eat too much candy, or you have trouble digesting your fats or your proteins or your carbs. That environment changes, and then the fungus and the mold and the yeast is in a friendly environment, and it multiplies. It multiplies. It not only grows in the small intestine where it started, but it moves right up the digestive tract, and in infants you'll see it in the mouth. It turns the mouth white. Now, this is hard to get rid of, unless, of course, you happen to know the secret that cellulase digests that fiber. Cellulase digests cellulose. So we make a formula that's high in cellulase to help you get rid of the yeast, the fungus, the mold, or the candida that's in your stomach. Another example of how the environment affects your health is in the stomach, we have H. pylori. It's there, but you don't know it unless the environment in the stomach becomes too alkaline or becomes too acidic or the temperature goes too high. The environment changes and it allows that H. pylori to thrive. So we know which enzyme combinations and which herbs to give you that will fix this issue of things that should be dormant in your body that aren't. And then there are those things that attack us. They go in through the mouth or the eyes or the nose. They can even get in through the ears. Right now there's one floating around that's pretty serious, and it's serious for this reason. It's not just a virus, but on the surface of this virus there is some fiber. There is some cellulose. And it's pretty difficult to get rid of that unless you actually digest it away. Unless you, as soon as cellulase touches that fiber, it's dissolved. So this is one of the reasons why sometimes as things mutate into a way of staying alive in your body much longer. Lyme disease does the same thing. Lyme disease starts as a bacteria on the surface of your skin, but as it moves through your body, it mutates to stay alive until finally it's this spiral-shaped bacteria that screws itself into your joints or your bones or any hard tissues and really wreaks havoc. When I first started enzyme nutrition, I had a pretty serious case of Lyme disease. I had had it for 3 years. I did not use any medication. I didn't use antibiotics to get rid of it. I tried a number of different things. It helped and then went away, and helped, and then I tried something else and it went away. And this went on for about 3 years, and finally it was at the spirochete stage where I was having trouble walking, and I wasn't working much, and I'm a single mother, so that doesn't work out too good. So a client came one day, and as soon as she hit the door, I said, "Oh, I don't know what you're doing, but you look great, and you need to tell me all about it while you're getting your colonic." And she did. She told me about Dr. Loomis, and she said that he was in Philadelphia that weekend, and I went. I don't know how I got there, except I could drive a lot easier than I could walk. And I heard Dr. Loomis say that enzymes are classified as food by the FDA, that they can be mixed and matched any which way. You know, you might have the same symptom, but a totally different cause. That they are scientifically provable. But because they're classified as food by the FDA, nobody bothers with them. The cost of a bottle of enzymes that's going to last for 30 days is somewhere around $48 to $58, or maybe $65, somewhere like that. That's fairly inexpensive compared to Valium, which, by the way, originally came from valerian root. They took the valerian root, they extracted the active ingredient, they made Valium, and now they sell it for $250 a bottle. Well, I lost my track of thought. Excuse me. Anyway, we're going to go back to the signs and symptoms form. And when you fill this out, I'll be able to tell which groups of food you're not digesting. I'll be able to give you a digestive enzyme to help you. I'll be able to tell how long it's been since you've digested that particular food, because I'll be able to tell the condition of your nervous system, and I'll be able to tell if your adrenal is kicking out enough hormones for you. And we'll treat it with natural substances that can't harm you in any way, shape, or form. Oh, I know what it was. The last thing that Dr. Loomis said that really hit home for me was that these are legally defensible. I can't hurt you, and you can't hurt me, because this is 100% food. And we might have to tweak it a little bit till we get it right, but I am very persistent, and I will continue to work with you until whatever that symptom is that you think is the biggest problem is gone. So, give us a call at 973-586-0629. Check out our website, nextlevelhealing.com. or stop by the office at 166 Franklin Road in Denville, New Jersey. It's been a pleasure speaking with you, and I hope to hear from you soon. Bye for now.